last federal fiscal year, which just ended on September 30th, our organization resettled 506 people in the state of North Dakota. They were in 205 families. About 40% of the people in that 506 number were children.
That was Lutheran Social Services of North Dakota CEO Jessica Thomason speaking today in front of a packed house for the Fargo-Moorhead-West Fargo Chamber Eggs and Issues event discussing refugee resettlement in our community. Good evening and welcome to 630 Point of View. I'm Chris Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, we all know refugee resettlement has been an extremely hot-button issue in our community as of late. And last night, we here at Valley News Live, we released our exclusive Mason-Dixon poll that we conducted on refugee resettlement right here in Cass and Clay County. Now, one of the questions we asked you in this poll, the survey, is do you support or oppose the continued resettlement of refugees in the Fargo-Moorhead area? 57% of you polled said you oppose refugee resettlement right here in our community. Now, we also asked you why you oppose refugee resettlement here. 43% of you said because this is not the right place. Refugees should be resettled somewhere else. Basically the old, hey, not in my backyard argument. Also, 24% of you said you do not support it because of the cost to the taxpayers. And 15% of you said because you feel like crime will increase in our community. Well, Valley News Live reporter Bradford Eric, he revealed these poll results last night. You can see them in more detail on our Facebook page at facebook.com/630POV. Now, Bradford was also at the Eggs and Issues event this morning, and he joins us tonight to tell us in more detail about what took place today at the event, but also tonight a very special story is coming up tonight at 10 o'clock about how refugee resettlement impacts education in our community. Bradford joins us again tonight. Thanks for being here. And so the event today, packed house, number one, speak to that. Secondly, did anything happen today with Jessica Thomason that really moved the conversation forward about refugee resettlement?
Yeah, absolutely. Just about every chair was filled at the event this morning. Great for the chamber, great for everyone to get educated about this topic. Little room for us in the back with the media, but you know, for people who have questions, people who don't know a whole lot about the resettlement program, about what Lutheran Social Services does, about where the refugees are coming from, how many are coming. I mean, just all of these questions that people have. Today was a great event because you learned a lot. She answered a lot of those questions, but she also raised a lot of questions as well. And, you know, you mentioned about moving the conversation forward. I think it was a great starting point. I think it was a great starting point for the community, for the people in those positions of leadership who have those questions, who might be feeling the effects or think they're feeling the effects of the resettlement program.
This is, in my opinion, a very complicated issue. So, in my opinion, what I saw, because I watched the entire piece that you brought back today, I thought Jessica Thomason really did a nice job. Do you agree with that? Or? Absolutely.
I mean, she laid out everything in crystal clear detail.
Very transparent, too, by the way. Don't you think? Or,
yes.
Because that seems to be the big sort of rub, like, hey, where are the stats? Where are the numbers?
Right. And in the wake of yesterday's meeting at the Cass County Courthouse, where she says that she talked to people about not showing up, they never said anything about that. I thought it, like you said, it was very crystal clear, transparent. And she did address why there was no representative from LSS there at the meeting.
So let's clear that up tonight. What went down? Because it sounds like they were in communication for quite some time. She was supposed to be there. And oh, by the way, the LSS offices, maybe you can address this as well, closed yesterday and today for all staff meetings for 2 days. One, did she communicate with the people she said she did? Why didn't she show up, and what's going on with the offices being closed?
Yeah, she said she talked to Arlen Rasmussen and Chip Ammerman. Arlen Rasmussen, Cass County Commissioner, Chip Ammerman, Director of Cass County Social Services. I mean, hey, all it would have taken at the beginning of yesterday's meeting was one of those two individuals to say, hey, Jessica can't make it. We don't have a representative from Lutheran Social Services here. We'll take your questions and direct them to them. You know, let's gather all our questions up and send them to them. Or, you know, how many employees does Lutheran Social Services have? Several hundred? I mean, they're right here in town over there off 45th Street.
Send somebody.
Send at least one representative.
So why are the offices closed for 2 days? Are they huddling up right now because of these poll results or what?
It certainly could be. They are having all-staff meetings, the first all-staff meetings apparently ever in the history of the organization. So something is happening. Something is going down at LSS. But we here at the station, and I think in the community, are now asking those questions. Where is the money going? Why are you bringing these people here? What are the effects of this resettlement program? What are the impacts? How much is it costing us? And I think, like we mentioned earlier, today's Eggs and Issues event and the transparency was a good step in the right direction.
And also security. How are they being screened? Those kind of things. Let's talk about this, because tonight you got a great piece coming up. Be sure and check it out, 10 o'clock. One of the questions we also asked you, if we can bring this up, please, is about, hey, do you feel resettling refugees in our community, how does it impact education, the public schools? 47% of you said that you feel it has a negative impact on public schools. Tonight at 10 o'clock, what are people going to learn from you about how refugees are impacting our education system?
People are going to learn how many millions of dollars West Fargo and Fargo schools are spending to educate refugee children. In Moorhead, they're spending just under $1 million, but Moorhead's also not a direct resettlement community. So really the impacts are here in Fargo and West Fargo. I mean, some 90% of all the refugees that came to the state of North Dakota in the last federal fiscal year were settled here in the Fargo area. So like I said, millions of dollars, dozens of employees are being spent to educate these kids, and the law tells them that they have to educate the children. And
they should.
Absolutely. I think education is fantastic, and especially for you know, refugee children or people coming from another area. That's a great way to immerse yourself in the culture and move your place up in life.
And it's imperative. If I can't speak the language, I mean, good luck trying to get Ed Bradford. Outstanding job. I know you got some more stories coming up this week as well. We may have you back, but you can be sure and tune in tonight, 10 o'clock. Special piece about refugees and education. Speaking about education, tonight in my final view, I'm going to address the situation up in East Grand Forks. What happened to that teacher getting on paid leave, and still no one, president of the school board, superintendent, will not come on POV and talk to you, the public, the people paying these people. And then coming up next, speaking of education as well, we're going to have 3 new Americans, one of them an actual refugee from Sudan, joining us to share their stories and what they say. Hey, you know what? These are some of the challenges we face when we get here. Here's how we feel this community can better support us. All that and more coming up right after this.